Israel and the US have very strong ties. So strong that the US is willing to take on the whole world for Israel.
That America and Israel are forever united.
This was reinforced when Donald Trump moved the US Embassy to Jerusalem, despite only a handful of countries backing it. But was there more to the move?
Moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem was a primary goal, not just of Donald Trump, but of right-wing pro-Israel leaders like Sheldon Adelson, major donors to Trump, but also of evangelical Christians.
The US has many reasons to support Israel, and one of them are pro-Israel lobby groups.
The biggest two organizations within the Israel lobby, the IPAC and the Christians United for Israel. And some people say the Christian United for Israel is even bigger than the IPAC.
AIPAC predominantly consists of American Jewish Zionists, whereas CUFI is made up of evangelicals and are sometimes referred to as Christian Zionists. The two share a mutual goal of creating a state of Israel, but it's CUFI, along with other evangelicals, that is
pushing Trump to make political decisions. Very strong evangelical component that sits behind Trump, that pushes Trump's policies forward. And when the embassy was moved, the Trump administration officials that were at the dedication of the UN embassy brought some of the key evangelical leaders with them. Now, these are evangelical leaders who are hostile to Judaism as a religion. Maybe they might say that they're not hostile to Jews as individuals, but they, first of all, want to convert all the Jews to Christianity, and second of all, believe that the Jews are going to be killed in this final apocalyptic battle.
In spite of their controversial views on Jews, why would Israel accept their support?
Israel needs allies wherever it can find them, especially in the United States, because the U.S. is so important to Israel militarily and in many other politically.
So Israel needs the evangelicals to establish its state. And
Trump needs the evangelicals for votes.
Hopefully, I will have that evangelical support get out and vote. Because you know what? If they vote, we win.
81% of evangelicals voted for Trump. That's big. That's really big. The evangelicals are 1/3 of the population. Trump as well needs the evangelicals because of their strong hand within the Israeli lobby.
And the evangelicals are counting on Trump.
He stood up and he looked right at me and he pointed his finger at me, just like this. He said, "Other presidents have promised you and failed you, but I will not fail you."
And he didn't fail them. On May 14, 2018, Trump moved the US Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. This move officially recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Donald Trump recognized history. He, like King Cyrus before him, fulfilled the biblical prophecy.
So what's the biblical prophecy they're talking about?
All the Jews in the world have to be driven from their homes in the diaspora to Israel. And once all the Jews are in Israel, then there will be some sort of final battle between good and evil.
And this is where Jesus is going to come back to. He will come and put his feet on the Mount of Olives. Right behind me is the Valley of Kidron. That's where the Battle of Armageddon is going to culminate.
Evangelicals strongly believe that the time for the final battle is coming, and they want Israel to fully control the land by driving the Palestinians out. But Israel needs money to make this happen.
In the form of donations, in the form of grants as well, scholarships for students. But what's more dangerous is the lobbying that they do within the administration to make more military donations to Israel, military funds to Israel. Israel receives on a daily basis, and this is based on the Obama administration's plan in 2016, 10 years plan. They would be receiving $10.5 million a day in military funds. The overall will be like something like $38 billion.
Evangelicals are also funding what Israel calls Aliyah, a term used for the immigration of Jews to the land of Israel. In 2017, 28,000 Jews moved to Israel, and at least 8,500 of them arrived with the donations from evangelicals.
Israel still lives. It will always live.
Even if it means to
Drive out all the inhabitants of the land.
or even if it means sharing the same view on controversial topics, such as the killing of Jamal Khashoggi.
If we didn't have Saudi Arabia, we wouldn't have a big base. Israel would be in big trouble without Saudi Arabia.
Those who are screaming blood for the Saudis. Look, these people are key allies.
It's very important for the stability of the world, of the region and of the world, that Saudi Arabia remains stable.
Although the three are working together, they do not always share a common goal. Trump is only serving the evangelicals because he needs their votes. The evangelicals are funding Israel because they need the world to end and to be saved. Israel is accepting all forms of help solely because it wants its own nation.
What makes this alliance so crazy, each side is using the other.
So, is there a possibility that this alliance will fracture? Or will they prevail in their goals?